All right, it's time for my top training camp predictions here. Talking Dez, talking Aaron Donald and that contract, quarterback battles as well. The Jets quarterback battle, who wins that? Josh McCown. He will be the week 1 starter. He is the guy. He beats out Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater. Josh McCown, folks, is literally on this team to be the classic stopgap bridge quarterback, mentor, however you want to put it. And he knows it. He's 39 years old, guys. And he actually had his best season 6 years ago when Mr. Jeremy Bates was his quarterback's coach. Now Jeremy Bates is the offensive coordinator. There's reason to believe Josh McCown will not only be a good stopgap, will be a serviceable quarterback this season. Now, he has an injury history, and that's something to keep in mind. But he was in great shape last year, really showed some ability to actually put the Jets in somewhat of decent conversation, like mid-tier NFL team kind of conversation. So McCown is the team leader. I don't expect Sam Darnold or Teddy Bridgewater to relish any sort of leadership role at this point. I mean, it wouldn't be fair to expect that considering they're both new. And look at that age gap, by the way. McCown at 39, Teddy at 25, and of course Darnold barely old enough to legally drink. So I think the Jets realize they're rebuilding, and perhaps that's why they've been really patient with Todd Bowles, in that they're keeping him around as the head coach there. Sam Darnold is incredibly raw. He needs time to develop. And I think, like I said, Josh McCown is the right guy to step in and make sure Darnold will be ushered in effectively as the franchise quarterback for the New York Jets. Now, I've avoided this so far, but as for Teddy Bridgewater, he is the ultimate wild card. He signed that 1-year, $6 million deal back in March. And the spectrum of outcomes for Teddy Bridgewater go as this: winning the starting job and being the franchise quarterback of the Jets, to straight up being traded. Like, those are the potential outcomes, and then everything in between, right? So reports suggest he's making steps in the right direction in terms of his recovery, but OTAs are one thing, folks. Training camp is another, and then preseason is another, and then obviously the regular season is a whole new world. On paper, Bridgewater's, shall we say, intermediate throwing prowess, if you will, fits really well in the Jeremy Bates offensive system, but he's got a lot of work to do, and he's got the adversity to fight back from with his knee injuries of the past, and so that's something that I'm really tracking there with Teddy Bridgewater. Who will the Jets start week 1? McCown, Darnold, Bridgewater. Let me know in comments. Want to hear what you guys have to say. We got Daddy Smokes Yams. Jets win 6 games. That actually would probably be a successful season, to be honest with you guys. Ferocious Film. Shout out to you for chiming in the comments section. Loyal watcher of the Cam Rogers Show, by the way, saying that they will start McCown. He did better than expected last season, I say. I would agree with that. He kind of emerged out of nowhere. Had that hand injury, and he missed a few games. But when he was out there in the football field, he was a good player. So I think he'll be just fine for the Jets in the short term to kind of get Sam Darnold ready out there. Jordan saying 7 wins in a pretty bad division outside of New England. Agreed there. Speaking of the AFC East, let's go to another team. The Buffalo Bills. Who wins the quarterback position there? I think it's A.J. McCarron. So this battle, I feel, is a little closer than what people realize, especially in regards to Nathan Peterman. I think he is the ultimate wild card in all of this. So McCarron should win the job, especially because he has a better sample size of actual NFL experience than Nathan Peterman, and McCarron actually has NFL experience compared to Josh Allen. So the Bills are in prime regression mode in my eyes, so there's no need to make rash decisions, if you will, and like starting Josh Allen week 1 of the regular season. The Bills didn't sign McCown to a 2-year, $10 million deal for no reason here. We saw a dose of what McCarron can do back in 2015 when he played in 3 regular season games, also played in a postseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. a game probably the Bengals should have won. You may recall all those penalties at the end of the game. As for Peterman, I really don't hate him as much as the masses do. Now, we all think back to that Los Angeles Chargers game last year when Peterman was throwing interceptions like they were candy, but that's just a small sample size. That was one game. And I think one of the problems that we have out there in human society in general is we come to these quick conclusions, these rash judgments, if you will. And I'm just not ready to say that Nathan Peterman is a bad quarterback. Now, if I see 3 more games of Nathan Peterman throwing 6 interceptions, then yes, he is a bad quarterback. He is Ryan Leaf, and he should move on. But we're not there yet. And so that's why I'm not totally discounting Peterman being the Week 1 starter for the Buffalo Bills, because there was some buzz out there that Peterman was really impressing during minicamp. We talked about it on one of our NFL dailies once, and we kind of laughed at the prospect of Nathan Peterman being a starter for the Buffalo Bills, but I'm not totally going to rule it out. So keep that in mind. Who will win the AFC East in 2018? This might be the easiest prediction for a divisional winner, to be honest with you. Here's how I see it. I think it's New England at 1. I think it's Miami, with a big gap, by the way, not Miami at 2. The New York Jets at 2 with a big gap there. Then the Buffalo Bills. And then Miami at number 4. I think they finished dead last. It's going to be a race for last among the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets. And the Dolphins win that race. All right, next up on the list, who wins the Cardinals quarterback battle? Sam Darnold. Oh, my God, I knew I was going to say that. Sam Bradford. He wins the quarterback battle there for the Arizona Cardinals. When I was typing up my notes, I even wrote Sam Darnold, and I had to delete it and then rewrite Sam Bradford. So that's how my day has been going, folks. Bradford, though, he is a top 10 quarterback in my eyes if he is healthy. Now, Steve Wilks has been adamant that Bradford is the starter, and of course the caveat will always be if, right, he is healthy. So the Cards signed him to a 1-year, $20 million deal. That's not the kind of payment you get to sit on the bench. And like I said, top 10 quarterback type of ceiling, I believe that, but he just can't stay on the football field. He hasn't played a full 16-game slate since the 2012 season with the then St. Louis Rams. So health aside, I think this prediction is pretty easy here. I think Josh Rosen is really going to try to compete here and to beat out Bradford. He has the right attitude to, I think, perhaps come out of nowhere and become the starter, because he has this tunnel vision of competitiveness, and he almost takes it personally. And if he hears Steve Wilks saying that Sam Bradford is the Week 1 starter, Rosen's going to channel that and use that as motivation. Take a look at the ages here. I can't believe Bradford's already 30. Rosen at 21. Oh, yeah, there's that guy named Mike Glennon on the roster as well. So, yeah, Wilks can say Bradford is the starter right now, but his mind can change, and Wilks also isn't the guy who decided to shell out the $20 million for Sam Bradford, too. Keep that in mind. So he has no latch or connection to that contract per se. If he thinks Rosen is a better option than Sam Bradford, he's going to put in Rosen in Week 1. Real quick, for Glennon, I think he's just hoping to have a Matt Castle, Charlie Whitehurst, Thaddeus Lewis type of career the rest of the way, sit on the bench, make some money, and then move on with your life. I thought Mike Glennon would be a serviceable, if not a solid quarterback in the NFL, and I just don't know if he can anymore, so he's just going to cash out on a couple paychecks and go on his merry way there. All right, time to predict the Aaron Donald contract. Here is how I see it going down. I think Donald gets paid 6 years, $120 million, with $80 million in guaranteed money. So he will, I believe, end up with more cash in his pocket than what Khalil Mack will get. And Donald might be the best player in the NFL, disregarding positional value. Here are Donald's 4 seasons and his grades according to Pro Football Focus. 88.2, in 2014, 99.3 in 2015. That's an elite grade. 98.5 in 2016. That too is an elite grade. 99.7 in 2017. Nearly perfect elite grade. So he's set to make roughly $13 million this season, obviously underpaid to what he truly deserves. And let's juxtapose his yearly salary here to what other defenders out there are making. So you see the question mark, the asterisk there. That's in theory. If this contract goes down, Donald will be the highest paid defender on a yearly basis. So Von Miller right now is the top line guy. Ziggy is there at 2. DeMarcus Lawrence at 4 with the Dallas Cowboys off the franchise tag, by the way. So that's not a long-term deal. Ziggy, by the way, is franchise tag 2. And then Fletcher Cox, one of the premier defensive linemen in the NFL. So Donald is going to get paid. Rams GM Les Snead said recently, quote, "We're simultaneously working to make Aaron a Ram for a long time. That's the goal." So I think the panic meter is fairly low on the future of Donald. But if he doesn't report to camp, by the way, by August 7th, he could lose his chance at unrestricted free agency next March. So if Donald gets impatient here and he gets a little frustrated, and maybe he thinks about going into free agency, not going to happen, but maybe, he better report by August 7th. That's all I'm going to say. So he gets paid big time. One more prediction to get to. It's about Dez Bryant. Where is he headed next? But first, this is the Cam Rogers Show, presented by AutoList. If you're looking for a newer used car out there and you're tired of browsing a million sites, go to Autolist.com to surf the largest source of inventory on the web. Or be sure to download their top-rated mobile app for iPhone or Android today. 4 minutes left of the program. If you want a shout-out, hit me up in comments. If you want a shout-out on social media, be sure to hit me up on Twitter. I'll give you some love on there as well. Where's Dez Bryant headed? He's going to New England. He's going to the New England Patriots. One more time. He's going to the New England Patriots. He will join Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, Tom Brady, Jordan Matthews, Hogan, Malcolm Mitchell if he's not traded. And it just makes so much sense from so many different perspectives. And I've been saying this all along, guys. And I have been the guy that was of the camp that the Cowboys should have moved Dez Bryant and cut him away, and they did. And I'm usually wrong. But I was right about that. And so I feel like I am on the right path, Harris Rubenstein, in terms of the future of Dez Bryant. So with that, Julian Edelman is going to go through his 4-game suspension. The Patriots got to figure out who their wide receivers are going to be, 1 and 2, for those 4 games. Because Malcolm Mitchell could be traded too. That's the latest buzz there. Dez Bryant wants to be on a contender. Check. The New England Patriots are Super Bowl 53 favorites. Dez Bryant wants a 1-year deal so that eventually he can get a 2-year, 3-year deal and cash out a little bit. I think the Patriots can do that. Check. The Patriots have a history of bringing in veterans on the back 9 of their career, to use a golf phrase. Check. You look at the names in the past: Albert Haynesworth, James Harrison, Brandon Lloyd, Michael Floyd, Chad Ochocinco. I mean, you guys present me with an argument that the New England Patriots do not make sense. I want to hear it. 5-paragraph essay, topic sentence, thesis, the whole shebang. Because I think Dez Bryant will be in New England playing in Gillette. He will be the red zone target opposite of Rob Gronkowski. And I think he's going to have a very successful 1-year deal with New England, and then he's going to cash out with the Patriots. If he doesn't want to go to the Baltimore Ravens, that means like other mid-tier teams out there don't make much sense for Dez. So you have to go to that upper tier, like New England, like Pittsburgh, Tennessee Titans. You saw them on your screen too, the Green Bay Packers as well. What team is the best fit for Dez Bryant? Let me know in the comments section. I want to hear from you guys. Jesse is saying Dez to Green Bay or San Francisco. People are saying maybe the Eagles. Guess you can play the Dallas Cowboys twice a year, at least, by doing that. But, I mean, I'm not going to fluctuate from my position unless I hear any other exclusive reporting for you guys. I think Dez Bryant is going to New England.